Imagine giving your landlord $300,000 upfront and paying no rent for the next 2 years. Most people would think that's a terrible idea. Yet, in South Korea, a housing system remarkably similar to that has existed for decades. It's called Jeonse. And to truly understand the Korean housing market, you first need to understand how it works. The reason Jeonse can be difficult for foreigners to understand is simple. There is no exact equivalent in most English-speaking countries. So let's start with something familiar. In a typical rental arrangement, a landlord rents out a property and receives monthly payments from a tenant. In Korea, this system is called Wolse, which literally means monthly rent. Jeonse works very differently. Under a Jeonse lease, the tenant provides the landlord with a large lump sum deposit for a fixed period, usually 2 years. In return, the tenant can live in the property without paying any monthly rent. For example, instead of paying $1,500 per month, a tenant might provide a $300,000 deposit and live in an apartment rent-free for 2 years. At first glance, this may sound bizarre, but economically speaking, the tenant is effectively acting as a lender, while the landlord becomes the borrower. The landlord can use or invest the deposit during the lease period, and the expected return on it effectively replaces the monthly rent. For decades, many Koreans viewed monthly rent as money wasted. Every rent payment was gone forever. With Jeonse, however, the tenant received the entire deposit back at the end of the lease. As a result, Jeonse came to be seen as a means of preserving wealth, while monthly rent, Wolse, was often viewed as a loss. Of course, this way of thinking ignored an important reality. Tying up hundreds of thousands of dollars also carries a cost. The tenant forgoes investment opportunities and may even need to borrow money to cover the deposit. Nevertheless, this mindset remained deeply rooted in Korean society for decades. The problem is that Jeonse carries a fundamental risk. Because tenants are effectively lending a large sum of money, they become highly vulnerable if the landlord experiences financial difficulties. In most cases, tenants have very limited information about a landlord's financial situation or outstanding debts. As a result, they are often forced to place their trust primarily in the property itself. Over the years, Korean lawmakers have introduced various legal protections designed to safeguard tenants' deposits. However, those protections cannot eliminate the fundamental risk at the heart of the system. Whenever housing prices fall or landlords face financial trouble, the weaknesses of Jeonse become painfully clear. In the next episode, we'll explore how Korean law attempts to protect tenants' deposits and why those protections do not always work as intended. I'm a Korean lawyer, and on this channel, I explain Korean society through its laws, culture, and history. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.